Hi everyone, Mike Pace here. Thank you so much for joining us here worldwide today on this really a breaking news story, not only for the week, not only for the month, but for the year, unfortunately, that we have to report to you that President Trump and the First Lady testing positive for COVID-19. Now, here is the timeline, everybody. We're just 32 days out from a national election. How will this all change? Well, here is what could possibly happen here. President Trump, we all know, is going to be quarantining at the White House with the First Lady. Once he has 2 negative tests, then he could start to resume normal activities. So the debate could still be on given this timeline here. So we will wait and see just all of the different kind of aspects that are going around with that debate there. But obviously the first thing is make sure that the president stays healthy, First Lady Melania Trump stays healthy, and the rest of the family, the whole White House staff, everybody. That is the last thing that you want to report on when potentially a president could have ailing effects there. So we're hoping for the very best for the president there and the first family as well. Joe Biden already putting out similar thoughts there on Twitter. He's going to be in Grand Rapids, Michigan today. We will have his full comments as well. He'll probably right off the top talk about President Trump and wishing him the very best before he gets into his big speech there in Grand Rapids, Michigan here. But earlier today we were just talking about the timeline. President Trump obviously had the debate on Tuesday. Then he had a rally then in Minnesota on Wednesday, and then just yesterday, Hope Hicks, one of President Trump's aides, testing positive for COVID-19. So we will just wait and see. We're still waiting to see if Joe Biden, we are hearing that Joe Biden and his wife are going to be taking the test sometime today. That was what the quote from the Joe Biden's camp was, that said sometime today. So things could get a lot different if unfortunately Joe Biden tests positive there as well. But we'll wait for that news. Still right now everything is on schedule for Joe Biden to go to Michigan, Grand Rapids area later this afternoon. So we will feature that for you right here on News Now from Fox. But just when you think that this whole year just couldn't get any crazier, you're thrown in for this big loop of the day of boy, I woke up this morning, I saw the news, I was like, oh wow, here we go. We're going to go full coverage right now on News Now from Fox. I'm just going full coverage, staying on here with you. Thank you for joining us here today as we're going to navigate this together. As soon as we get other feeds in, other sources, we're going to bring it to you. I'm going to continue to just rattle off articles that continue to come in from our Fox News team, and we will get through this together right now. We're also keeping an eye out on the markets right now. We'll keep an eye on the markets here. They are expected to be much, much lower here as futures plummeted when the news of President Trump and the First Lady confirmed for COVID-19. So we will keep an eye on the markets here for you as soon as that gets going. I'm going to start talking about some more articles here that we continue to get in. I appreciate everyone joining us here worldwide on this really busy day, and it's going to be a busy week. It's going to be a busy weekend, but we're going to get all this through this together, everybody. So what I'm going to do, keep my double box here. We got 10 minutes before the market opens, so we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll bring that to you in about 10 minutes, everybody. Let me just get some other articles here that I can read to you, and we will bring it to you right here on News Now from Fox. If you're just joining us and just waking up, especially for all our fans and viewers out on the West Coast, obviously this is a big news story. It's the biggest of 2020. President Trump announcing today that both he and the First Lady Melania Trump tested positive for COVID-19 and will quarantine at the White House. What I want to do is just bring up the also Okay, so Dow Jones futures right now are down almost 500 points in the red. We will look at that in just a moment here. About 9 minutes away from market open as stock futures maintained losses this morning after U.S. job growth slowed in September, adding to investor uncertainty. President Donald Trump's disclosure that he has tested positive for COVID-19. Dow futures were falling fast at 335 points earlier today, now close to 500. The September non-farm payroll report showed the addition of 661,000 jobs, falling short of the 800,000 estimate. That's down from the 1.37 million jobs that were added back in August. The unemployment rate ticked down to 7.9% compared to 8.4% previously. Private payrolls added 877,000 jobs, while the government shed 216,000 jobs. August job report was revised higher as the economy added 1.4 million jobs, up from a prior reading of 1.3. The economy is in focus after Trump and the First Lady tested positive for COVID-19. U.S. stocks posted modest gains yesterday as stimulus talks continued between U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. News of Trump's infection came just a short time after one of the president's closest advisors, Hope Hicks, was revealed to have tested positive for COVID-19, which has killed more than 205,000 Americans and 1 million people worldwide. So we'll keep an eye out on the markets here. 7 minutes to go until the live open here. Joe Biden this morning tweeted that he and his wife Jill are sending their thoughts to President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump and wishing for a swift recovery after the Trumps announced they tested positive for COVID-19. While many on social media sent well wishes to President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump early Friday after the president confirmed that they had both tested positive for the coronavirus, others took time to criticize or make negative comments. And unfortunately, we'll read some of those right now. Rashida Tlaib, representative in Michigan, said he still won't wear a mask. He only cares about himself and his life, not those around him or the people he took an oath to protect. Too many lives lost because of his deadly lies. So she's not even putting out any type of, or wishing you the very best or anything. Her comments come just days after Trump, during the first presidential debate, mocked Democratic nominee Joe Biden for wearing a mask constantly to help stop the spread of the virus, which has killed over 200,000 Americans. Actor and director Rob Reiner tweeted, "That damn hoax." The Ellen Show executive producer Andy Lassner said Twitter was created for tonight. So obviously there are still some very negative people out there in this country trying to wish the president and the First Lady harm, and they should be investigated by the CIA and also Secret Service as well there during these very difficult times for the country as they continue to show harm for the president. We'll continue to read out the latest here on News Now from Fox, giving you the updates as they are happening worldwide. This is what News Now is all about, giving you this fluid information that is coming in. We do appreciate you joining us here worldwide today during the biggest story of the year. I'm just going to get a quick sip of water here and we'll continue on. Okay, we are ready. A White House official told Fox News today that most West Wing officials and staff who are in close proximity to the president are tested for COVID-19 daily. Another White House official told Fox News that White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows tested negative for COVID-19 in his most recent test. That test, according to the official, was conducted as part of normal protocol. The president and first lady's positive coronavirus test came just hours after news surfaced that senior White House advisor Hope Hicks tested positive for COVID-19. Trump participated in a presidential debate with Biden on Tuesday before he or Hicks began showing symptoms or tested positive for the virus. Most of Trump's team at the debate were not wearing masks and reportedly refused to put them on when offered masks by Cleveland Clinic staff. Everyone in the debate hall besides Trump, Biden, and moderator Chris Wallace were required to wear masks. According to a source familiar, Hicks, who has been traveling with the president this week, began showing symptoms of coronavirus late Wednesday night, either during or after Trump's Duluth campaign event. She was quarantined aboard Air Force One on the way back and tested positive on Thursday morning. President Trump tweeting this out 10:44 last night Eastern, saying that Hope Hicks, who has been working so hard without even taking a small break, has just tested positive for COVID-19. Terrible. The First Lady and I are waiting for our test results. In the meantime, we will begin our quarantine process. Steve Scalise saying, a representative from Louisiana, my thoughts and prayers are with President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump. President Trump is tough. He is someone who just works hard all the time, and I know he is going to bounce back quick. We're praying for him, but I know he's going to come back strong. We're getting the latest reporting from Chad Pergram, who is Fox News' Capitol Hill reporter. This is his notes that he has been putting on Twitter. Always doing a great job on Twitter. Chad Pergram here. Notes on the Capitol Hill response to the president's positive test. The Senate is out today. The House is in session. House Chaplain Father Patrick Conroy addressed the president's positive test in the opening prayer on the House floor to open the session. Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett has met with 32 senators over the past 3 days. It's unclear if she has been tested, considering she spent time in the presence of President Trump recently. And it's unclear with the senators who have met with the nominee in close quarters are being tested. Keep in mind that the Senate is now out until Monday. Senators left the Capitol to board planes, including those faces competitive re-election races. Fox has inquired if any of this would change any schedule in either body. So far, no decisions have been made. Frankly, a lot of members and staff don't have much to say about this. There is no playbook for this, Chad Pergram tweeting out. He notes that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi met in person at length with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin as they negotiated on a potential coronavirus agreement. Also, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows came to the Capitol this week to meet with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Mnuchin and Meadows have both all tested negative. Keep in mind that the U.S. Capitol has no testing regimen for those who work here: members, aides, custodians, police officers, food service workers, and journalists. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and Representative Rodney Davis have pushed for a testing protocol, but Pelosi and McConnell have rejected such requests. Clyburn at the coronavirus committee hearing, saying the president's response to the coronavirus has been a failure of global proportions. We will definitely keep an eye out on this for you and provide you with full coverage right here on News Now from Fox. I'm going to get you, we're going to go to that House hearing right now on the very latest with COVID-19, since it all falls in line here. And we'll bring that to you right here on News Now from Fox.
who needed one. In fact, today, most doctors will tell you if someone comes in, the last thing they want to do is put them on a ventilator because the science has advanced. Doctors know a lot more about this virus today than they did just a few months ago, and I credit our medical community for learning and sharing that information with others as we learn more every day to save American lives. That has been part of President Trump's plan. In addition, a plan to slow the spread. On March 16, 2020, President Trump announced national guidelines entitled, quote, 15 days to slow the spread. In fact, Dr. Fauci testified right there where you're sitting, Secretary Azar, just a few weeks ago before this committee, when I asked him, was that part of the president's plan? He said, yes. I said, did that plan save American lives? He said, yes. President Trump made those decisions. That was part of the president's plan. These guidelines outline how to help slow the virus's spread and keep our most high-risk populations safe. Again, as we learn more about this virus, we learn it doesn't affect everyone equally. And so as there are populations that we identify as higher at risk, there are more resources given. Part of the president's plan, by the way, as Secretary Azar is well aware, was to acquire and distribute testing machines to every nursing home in America. Admiral Giroir sat right there at that table just a few weeks ago in this committee to talk about that aspect of President Trump's plan and how it's being carried out today to protect our nation's seniors, which we uncovered. Over 40% of all deaths in America came from less than 1% of America's population, and that is seniors in nursing homes. It was through the work of some of us on this committee that we identified that, yes, 45 governors actually followed the president's plan, the CMS guidelines, which were issued for how nursing homes could properly take care of seniors in nursing homes. That was part of the president's plan. Unfortunately, 5 governors might have read that plan, but they ignored that plan, completely threw it in the trash can and said, we're going to do our own thing. Sadly, it had deadly consequences. At least 25,000 seniors died who shouldn't have died in nursing homes because those 5 governors went against the president's plan. As we know in America, nursing homes are governed at the state level, not at the federal level. The guidance came from the federal level, but these 5 governors chose to go the other way. Some of them are still trying to hide the facts. Many of us have asked on this committee to get those facts. Not all have. I wish the majority would join us in getting the facts for those families, thousands of families who still want and deserve answers for why their loved ones died, many of whom could not even go and visit their father, their aunt, their grandmother who died in those nursing homes, who shouldn't have died if those 5 governors would have followed the guidelines. Shouldn't be a political issue. 45 governors got it right, Republicans and Democrats. If 5 got it wrong, we should all be wanting to find out why they got it wrong and find out how many people actually were victimized by those decisions. The fact that months and months later we still don't know, and that